Okay, this is 4 questions from Chapter 5 and Chapter 7 in your Grade 9 Math textbook. They involve both adding and subtracting polynomials and multiplying and dividing polynomials. Also, when we do these types of questions, some people ask, do we have to do BEDMAS with this? And of course, the answer to that question is you always have to do order of operations with any math question you have. It's not an optional thing. It's always done, and it's in the correct order. So the first question gives us a multiplication of -2 by the trinomial x squared minus 4x plus 2. Take away the binomial of 3x squared minus 5. So the first thing, of course, since we have 2 operations here, we have the multiplication and we have the subtraction. And after that, we would just gather like terms with the polynomials. So the first thing we're going to do is multiplication. And when we do multiplication, first we need to use distributive property. So -2 multiplied by x squared will be -2x squared. And one of the questions that most of you would have gotten wrong, if you got anything wrong, is the next one. -2 times -4x. Since 2 times 4x is 8x, and a negative times a negative is a positive, we're going to put a plus 8x there. And a -2 times a positive 2 is a -4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that in brackets. You don't have to, but I'm going to. And then I'm going to take away the next binomial, which means I'm going to change it to addition. And inside that bracket, I'm going to change it to the opposite of the polynomial. So instead of being 3x squared, it's going to be -3x squared. Instead of being a -5, it's going to be a +5 or a +5. And now that we have that, we're going to gather like terms. Your -2x squared and your -3x squared is going to be -5x squared. Your 8x is all by itself, so it's plus 8x. And your -4 and your +5 make a +1. And on your test, if I was to give you that and say simplify it, you would be surprised at how many people say 3x cubed plus 1. You can't gather those like terms any further because they're not like terms. In the second question, you have 10x squared minus 2x plus 4, that trinomial. That trinomial is being divided by -2. And then after, you're going to add to it -4x squared minus 3. So again, we're going to use distributive property here to divide that trinomial by -2. That will leave you with, if you wanted to write it out separately, you could do 10x squared divided by -2, -2x divided by -2, and 4 divided by -2, which would give you -5x squared plus x, because the -2 and -2 will essentially cancel each other out or become a 1 over 1, leaving you with just an x or a positive x, and 4 divided by -2 is -2. To that, we're going to add this binomial. When you gather your x squareds, you're going to have -9x squared. When you gather your x's, you just have that 1x, and -2 and -3 will be -5. And that's your solution. Your third question has a multiplication of a monomial and binomial plus another multiplication of a monomial by a trinomial. So we need to use distributive property twice here. I'm going to multiply those out. So 10x times 2x is 20x squared. 10x times -3 is -30x. I'm going to keep that in brackets because that's the binomial that we get when we multiply that out. And to that, we're going to add, in brackets, 8x squared minus 12x plus 4. Now that we're adding 2 polynomials together, we'll just gather like terms. Give me 28x squared minus 42x plus 4. And that's the solution to that one. And our last question, when we have this binomial times a monomial, take away this binomial times a monomial, and then we have it all divided by -2, what we really want to think of this as is, let's simplify the top. We'll get a polynomial solution, and then once we have that polynomial solution, we'll divide the entire thing by -2. So we'll simplify this first. 2x times -2x minus 3 will be -4x squared minus 6x, and I'll keep that in brackets, minus, in brackets again, 8x squared plus 8x. So that's what the top part is going to simplify to, and of course, if we change it to addition and use the opposite, we're going to end up with that as our top part. Gather like terms, we're going to end up with negative 12x squared minus 14x, and then all of that is going to be divided by this negative 2 here. Some people forgot to do that. So when I simplify the top, it becomes that negative 12x squared is going to be divided by the negative 2 using distributive property. So is the other term of our binomial, which is negative 14x. And when we get that done, it's going to be 6x squared plus 7x. And that's our solution.